Hello, friends. Thank you for participating in this protection training for children and elders and all of our sponsored members. Child safety comes from our core values of dignity and mutual respect. And so this is very important, central to the mission of Unbound about who we are and what we care about. We are emphasizing the environment that is around the child or the sponsored member. The environment consists of everything that goes on around the child in terms of safety, in terms of policies and practices. And the reason we need to do this is because Unbound intentionally tries to create personal and authentic relationships between people with a great imbalance of power. That's what we love to do, and we want to continue doing that. But of course, there's some danger in that. There's some danger in people with an imbalance of power having these close personal relationships. And so we want to do everything we can in order to make the environment around our sponsored members as safe as possible. It's not because we don't have confidence in you. Of course, I believe in you. It's because I believe in you that we're confident that you're going to do everything you can to ensure the dignity and respect of all the members of our Unbound community. So thank you for all you do. I'm excited to go through this child protection training with you and appreciate all that you do every day. I believe in you.
Welcome to the training video on Unbound's Global Child Protection Policy. The purpose of this video is to describe the global policy to people who work for Unbound projects. All project staff should be retrained on Unbound's child protection policy every year in order to remember and use the information. After this video, you will be asked to complete a 10-question quiz to make sure you have clearly understood the content of the video. If you answer fewer than 8 of the 10 questions correctly, you will need to watch the video and take the quiz again. Your annual training on the Global Child Protection Policy is not completed until you answer at least 80% of the quiz questions correctly. Unbound is fully committed to protect the safety, security, privacy, and dignity of the sponsored children and elders. Unbound requires each project to create a child and elder protection policy consistent with the legal requirements of the country, international law, and the mission and core values of Unbound. A child and elder protection policy should be applicable to all staff, paid, voluntary, permanent, or casual, board members, consultants, sponsors, Unbound volunteers, partnering organizations, and any other people who represent Unbound in any manner and who come in contact with both sponsored and non-sponsored children and elders. There are many reasons a child and elder protection policy is important for an organization like Unbound. First, all children and elders have equal rights to protection from abuse and exploitation. No one should be vulnerable to abuse or neglect. Second, all children and elders should be encouraged to fulfill their potential. Unbound's program is designed to help children, youth, elders, and their families reach their full potential. That includes providing a safe setting for all program participants during their time in the program and doing all we can to positively influence the home environment of each child and elder to make it safer. All staff, board members, consultants, sponsors, and partners who are associated with the Unbound program have a responsibility to support the care and protection of children and elders with whom Unbound works. Parents and children need to know Unbound is doing everything possible to make its program safe for the participants. The Global Unbound Child Protection Policy covers 3 primary types of abuse. Physical abuse occurs when a person purposefully injures or threatens to injure a child or elder. This may take the form of slapping, punching, shaking, burning, shoving, or grabbing. Sexual abuse is any act that involves sexual molestation or exploitation of a child or elder, regardless of whether physical injuries are sustained. Child or elder sexual abuse is a physical violation of a person's body through any sort of sexual contact or psychological violation of the child's or elder's space through verbal or visual sexual behavior. Emotional abuse is a chronic attack on a child or elder's self-esteem. It can take the form of name-calling, threatening, ridiculing, bullying, shaming, intimidating, or isolating the child or elder. Hiring of staff for Unbound projects and subprojects should include appropriate procedures for screening out those individuals who have a history of child or elder abuse or are otherwise unsuitable for working with children or elders. In addition, all project and subproject staff members and volunteers must be trained in Unbound's Global Child Protection Policy and complementary project policies on an annual basis. This includes service scholarship students and parents of sponsored children who assist with Unbound activities. Sponsored members and their families should be assured that Unbound is protecting the integrity, accuracy, and dignity of information about them, including photographs, that is shared with the public. Privacy also demands that children, elders, their families, and communities are protected from any potential inappropriate contact from staff, Unbound volunteers, sponsors, or other representatives of Unbound. There should be no fewer than 2 adults at all Unbound program activities involving children or youth. A child should never be alone with an adult that is not his or her parent during an Unbound activity. No child or youth should receive emotional or physical punishment from any project or subproject staff member or volunteer. Forms of discipline that are prohibited include but are not limited to corporal, physical punishment of any kind, yelling, and any words that would make a child feel worthless or unloved. Any adult interacting with children or youth during an Unbound activity should be visible to at least one other adult at all times. Unbound strictly prohibits adults working with the Unbound program from being alone in a locked room with a child or a youth. Confidential activities like counseling must take place in locations that are visible to other adults or where other adults are nearby. In other words, confidential activities should occur in a place that is within sight but not hearing distance of others. Adults must be trained on Unbound's Global Child Protection Policy and trained on the project's complementary child protection policies before they can serve as chaperones for an overnight activity. Because of the higher risk posed by overnight activities, at least 2 adults of each gender must chaperone mixed gender groups of children or youth for overnight activities. The project must define and follow appropriate ratios of adults to children and youth for any overnight activity to ensure safety and protection of children. Immediate reporting is extremely important in protecting children and elders. You should not wait to report any concerns you have. You should report any situation where a child, youth, or elder is vulnerable to abuse at an Unbound event or activity. Act before abuse occurs. You should report situations or circumstances that are high risk, even if no abuse has yet occurred. Your proactive reporting could spare a child from being abused. An allegation of child or elder abuse is a serious issue, and it is thus essential that all parties maintain confidentiality. Until abuse has actually been proven to have occurred, it should be referred to as alleged abuse. An alleged perpetrator of child or elder abuse will normally be suspended from their normal relationship with Unbound during the investigation of allegations. The investigations of alleged child or elder abuse must be timely and procedurally and substantively fair. The appropriate course of action, subject to local law, for proven child or elder abuse must be documented in detail and should include summary dismissal for a staff member, termination of relationship with Unbound for a board member, consultant, or volunteer, and termination of sponsorship for a sponsor. The person may also be subject to criminal prosecution under local laws. Any allegation of child or elder abuse regarding a staff member, volunteer, or sponsor shall be reported to Unbound Kansas as soon as possible. The incident report form for making a report to Unbound Kansas can be found on the portal homepage, then the manuals page, then the forms section. Unbound global policies are intended to provide a common foundation for all countries where the Unbound program operates. However, the global policies on their own are not enough. Each country should develop two types of complementary policies in addition to the global policies. Complementary policies to prevent and respond to abuse within the program. Unbound programs vary from country to country. That means the risks to children are different in each place. Project staff in each country are responsible for identifying risk factors that exist within the program and develop policies and practices that prevent abuse and respond to abuse if it occurs. All complementary policies should be developed with the active participation of parents, youth, and children who can represent the perspectives and interests of Unbound program participants. Project Child Protection policies should also seek to prevent and respond to abuse outside the program, in the home or community. Sponsored children and youth are vulnerable to many forms of abuse outside the time they spend in the Unbound program. Projects should develop policies and program interventions designed to protect children and respond to cases of abuse when they occur. Types of interventions might include training on the rights of children, training on domestic abuse, posting governmental and non-governmental resources in the community that are designed to support families or children experiencing abuse, or the creation of complementary policies should consider contextual factors like local culture and resources. Thank you for taking the time to review the Unbound Global Child Protection Policy. Together, we can make Unbound a safe space for children, youth, and elders, and we can help to make their homes and communities safe places too. The following quiz is required for all project staff on an annual basis to make sure that the child protection policies have been communicated clearly.